What's up, guys? So today on this Shoky Legacy Power Rangers review, we're going to take a look at, of course, the limited edition Pink Ranger Legacy figure. And of course, we're just continuing this line. So we've already been through red, yellow, and black. So we're going to check her out this time. And of course, you see Pink Ranger here, which is probably Kimberly, but I guess it could be Cat too. I guess Cat came along in time, right? And yeah, so you've got all the new stuff. You've got her right here. You've got banana gun, holster, the power bow and arrow right there, and actually a new hand. For once they gave us a new hand. Well, we'll see exactly how hard that is to actually utilize, because I have a feeling it's going to be a pain to swap those out. But of course, you get the Saban Power logo there. You got the normal Power Rangers logo there. You got Aegis 4 Plus. Hey, I'm right in the middle of that. You've got Limited Edition right there. Legacy Collection Pink Ranger right there. Come over here, and you can see her butt. Why are you looking at her butt? That's just weird. Come to the back, and you've got Collect Them All. No, don't tell me how to live my life box. And you come over here, and you got a really strange image of that right there. Her leg looks a little funky right there. You can come to the bottom and nothing matters, and you can come to the top, upside down Power Rangers logo. So let's go ahead and get this open and see if she's any better than everybody else. Oh, by the way, nice cool pink lightning right there. I really do dig that. Awesome. Alright, so we've got little Miss Pink Ranger out of her packaging and looking actually not too bad. I think they altered the packaging, or at least the pose in the packaging, just enough that her legs aren't totally wonky. Now, they look a little bit weird, since of course this is basically what we always end up talking about. I think realistically the only issue is that this one knee, you can see right there, doesn't quite click all the way up. I mean, there's a soft ratchet there, but you can see this knee is all the way up, this knee is not. So that seems to be the only wonkiness. So I guess if I put a slight bend in both knees, it's actually not too bad. And now she doesn't want to stand. She's standing fine until I mess with her. No, she's not going to stand. Alright, so this one so far is the least bad out of all of them when it comes to mold issues straight out of the packaging. So I'm actually kind of happy. So let's take a look at her accessories, because that is the thing that sort of makes all of these unique to each other. And you do get her little power bow. Actually looks very, very good. Maybe I can pull one up on the screen right here, screenshot. I think potentially should have a little bit of silver, like the little claws here, because of course it's supposed to be like pterodactyl wings. Should be silver. And I believe that's supposed to be, I don't know if I can get a shot of that up close. I think that is supposed to be her power coin emblem, and they didn't bother with gold or anything like that, and it's also really, really tiny. So looks pretty good. Got some smudging happening right here. I don't know if it's just somebody got their hands in it wrong or something. Okay, now I'm confused as to which way it's supposed to go. I think it's held this way. White part out. I guess it's this way, because she holds it with her left hand and the arrow in the right hand. So I suppose that's how that's supposed to work. So let's actually put that in her hand and see how well that functions. It is, of course, soft plastic, just like all the other weapons are, and you turn it just a little bit, and there we go. Yep, she can totally hold her power bow. That actually looks pretty neat, and very much like the sword itself. It's red on one side and got a little bit of pink panel lining on the other. Actually, really do dig that. Adds kind of a neon effect to it. There is something. Okay, that knee is a little bit loose, but it's not horrendously bent like all the other ones have been. Just give her a slightly wider stance. Stay. Alright, so of course with the power bow itself, you do get an arrow, which I think you physically saw an arrow like once or twice in the actual show. Because I remember they had to shoot an arrow into a specific thing. I think it might have been the pig thingy that was eating everybody. Like, she actually had to shoot a bow. Most of the time I think it was, in fact, I'm sorry, an arrow. I do believe most of the time it was like energy that she was shooting, not a physical actual bow. And guys, this is the softest plastic ever. I'm worried about potentially breaking it because it's flexing a lot. It's all done in very nice Bandai silver, although I believe that the arrow itself should be white. Pull it up on the screen. I could be wrong, could be right. I don't know because I can't see it at the moment. But of course, because it's an arrow, you gotta have to have an arrow shooting hand. So this is the first one we've seen that actually gets a new hand. And it is actually molded pretty nice, and you just hold the thing right in there. I'm drawing an absolute blank. I'll come back to it if I remember what these things are called. I cannot believe I'm forgetting that. But the trick is going to be if I can actually get the hands off, because the hands are super soft and got a little ball joint right there. So let's see if I can pull it off without breaking anything, which I'm really, really scared. So, oh geez, that's a terrible noise. Alright, so it's just a nice little ball joint right there. So try to plug it in. Actually, that was actually pretty painless. So you still get the swivel, you get the bend. So it should be like so, I believe. I think that's how it should be. Ah, she just dropped it. Let's see if I can actually put her in, because you can't raise the shoulder up. I don't know if we can get an effective pink arrow. Going full DC crossover again, guys. Power Rangers DC crossover again. We got pink arrow. That should be pretty close. Maybe not. I mean, really, it should be across the body. Like so. Yeah, I'm struggling. I'll deal with it. Hold on. Sometimes these things are not the easiest things in the world to pose. Then that would be most of the time. Let's see, pull that in, like so. And this being so soft and it actually not holding onto it very good. Like, I mean, it just is a very, very loose feeling there. Now, once again, I can't. It should be like that. So I end up, wow, I actually pulled it out of her own hand. That's crazy. Stay. I almost wish that was molded directly into the hand to make life a little bit easier. Let's see here. Let's tilt it outward just a little. See if it'll do it. Or if it's going to be annoying. Either way, it's more or less something like that. I think that's how it should be. Just dropped it. Silly arrow. And maybe we could do it this way, just real quick here. Okay, maybe it makes more sense to go that way because I'm an idiot, I guess. I mean, you're not really going with a real arrow because there's no drawback or anything like that. It, you know, it's a weird situation here, guys. Let's see here. Hold on. Does it just hold the... It's got to be something like that. Wow, the legs got super wonky while I was messing with it. Alright, guys, so just thanks for bearing with me on that one. But there we have her basically trying to shoot her bow and not falling over. Hey, she shot her bow. Realistically, the bow itself will be the thing you use, and you can always pretend that she is shooting it, about to shoot an energy weapon. More. Alright, of course she has her other dumb weapon. You have the hip holster right there with the banana gun. Paint's a little bit sloppy on this one, realistically. And we'll just insert that in the thing, so you just complete the basic look of her. And it is, of course, very much a her because she has a skirt, which is one of the main defining details. Hey, you're the girl, you get a skirt. Of course, we're just going to forget the fact that there was a yellow one that was also a girl. Yeah. Actually, somebody posted a really clever photo the other day. I guess somebody had done custom versions. Maybe it was all Photoshop, where it was imagining all of them as different girls. They just swapped the heads and repainted the main color, but they all had skirts and everything. It was actually really, really neat. But also reimagining all of them as boys, even the chicks as boys, was very interesting. Speaking of that, let's look at the helmet, because it's actually really good. Got the very round helmet going on there. Paint is a little bit sloppy for what it is. It is obviously the pterodactyl. Always loved the design of this, where you got the face coming down, wings wrapping around. Compared to the other ones, she has an enormous amount of white. Everybody else has pretty much a solid color helmet, but hers has the white and the pink. So it has a very individual look. You even get the green painted eyes right there. How accurate that is, I'm not entirely certain. Of course, black visor and silver mouthpiece. And you can go all the way around like that. You can look down, you can look up, you can not really tilt side to side, so yay for that. Of course, all the pink diamonds. One thing, of course, I prefer about the girls is you don't get the ridiculous cutout where the abs should be, so the diamonds actually stay intact. I really always like that. And once again, ridiculous ab crunch on the girls. Also, because it's a ball joint, you can matrix out of the way. And she actually has hip swivel, or waist swivel, I should say. I think yellow didn't have that. Hold on. I think yellows didn't want to move. Oh, there it goes. I do remember yellow didn't want to move in review, but there, it actually can't. It does break the sculpt a little bit, which, by the way, these girls are really, really thin at the hips, but, you know, it is what it is. Shoulders, we do have nice disc hinges as usual, and then, of course, ball joint mount pretty much right in there, so it's pretty much universal. And I didn't notice it before. It's not a joint by any means, but you do have this slight angular cutout right there. I'm pretty sure it doesn't move on that. Nope, that's actually just how it's assembled. But you do get bicep rotation on her tiny little biceps. You got single jointed elbow, so it's not too bad. Obligatory forearm rotation, which, like I said, in my robots I like forearm rotation. In my people it gets a little bit weird, although it's very ill-defined on the girls, so I guess it's not too bad. You get rotation, you get pivot, swivel, and then also it rotates. Actually, at the moment, I can't tell. Hold on. Because it can rotate at the hand and it can rotate at the wrist. So you can get quite a lot of movement out of that. And of course, we already looked at the pointer finger, so she can be picking her nose or trying to prove a point. I don't know. Actually, it looks like she's probably like holding a hot dog or something. I don't know. Alright, so come down to the waist, and we do get her morpher with her obligatory focus. Either it's, there it goes. Obligatory little morpher and coin right there. It's not the best sculpt. It gets a little bit muddled in the paint there, but it's not too bad. Of course, the white belt. Everybody remembers how weird the belts were. You come down to, of course, what makes her the girl, the skirt. And it's going to limit articulation a bit, but I like that it's here. It might be flared just a little bit for articulation purposes, but it doesn't look terrible. Usually it's a little bit more hippie, a little more on the hip a little bit, but it's okay. I like the white line down at the bottom on the hem. Looks pretty good. Hips are going to be a bit limited by said skirt, so she's not getting a very wide pose. Can't even realistically come forward or backwards with the legs because that's just that limited. And then you get thigh rotation as you did before. Double jointed knees that aren't absolutely destroyed on this one, so I'm happy about that. Although this one is a little bit bendy, a little bit. And then you get what I still think is a ridiculous thing. You still get the shin rotation. Line that back up. And her feet actually aren't the worst in the world, but just like everybody else, slightly ratcheted, and then kind of a ball joint swivel right there in the ankle. I think the main problem with these guys, and I've just come to this point that I sort of have figured it out mostly. There's too much articulation, too many things rotating all at the same time, and that tends to break a lot of the sculpt, and it breaks a lot of the actual articulation, I think. The fact that the thighs rotate, the shins rotate, and the feet rotate is a little too much. Thigh rotation is good because then the entire leg pivots on that same point, so keep pointing regardless of where you go. Ankle rotation is fine. You want a little bit of, but instead of doing toe point and then turn, I guess actually that's not too terrible. But having the shins rotate, I think, is one of the main problems. That and the fact that the way that the joints have to work, you can see that they are bent a little bit, but they're not terrible compared to some of the other ones, which actually we're going to compare them to the other ones right now. Stay right there. Landscapers are here. So, of course, here's her direct mold mate, the Yellow Ranger with the worst knees on the planet. And, I can't not knock them over at this point. So literally the only difference is skirt and helmet and color. Otherwise these are the exact same mold, everything. But as you can see, the Pink Ranger is not deformed in the same way that the Yellow Ranger is. Bring in Mr. Red over here. I don't know what he's doing pose-wise. So her initial kind of somewhat romantic attraction. And then, of course, what is probably my favorite at this point, the Black Ranger. Which I will say, once again, the males... Dude is like raking my window. The males are significantly bigger, in my opinion. Like, they're bigger, they're bulkier, and everything like that. But, as I stated, so far, she is definitely the best of the bunch. Although I do wish... I'm starting to wonder if it should be this way, and I was holding it backwards. Now it makes me feel like I need to pull up an image of how she's supposed to be holding it. Like maybe it was supposed to be this way and I had it backwards. Because I want her to be able to hold the arrow properly. And I think fletching is the word I was looking for. I could be wrong. As often I am. It's a little weird because she can't actually be like a full draw. Like this elbow doesn't bend up enough for that, but it's not terrible, guys. I like that they actually give us the power weapons. I also dislike that they didn't give us the ability to combine them into the overall power blaster. You know, we're so close. It wouldn't take anything but a few little pegs. But, yeah. So this is the Power Rangers collection so far from the new limited edition Legacy line. And it's getting better. I will say that. It seems like I've went from, like, some of the work to getting increasingly better. And then the oddball Black Ranger with ratcheted shoulders. I have no idea what's going on there. We have one more to look at, and that is the Blue Ranger, and we shall check him out sometime soon. But, guys, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe because, hey, this is what I do. I do fun, nerdy stuff. I like Power Rangers and the like. So go check out everything else. If you guys need to check out the rest of my Power Rangers Legacy line, it'll probably be up here if I remember to do it, or it will be in the end credits. So stick around for that. And guys, I want to thank my patrons as usual, John, Andy, Steve. You guys are great. And if you're interested in my Patreon, know anything about it, right there on the screen. Actually, right now, this time of year, I could definitely use the extra help to keep the channel moving forward. So if you have anything to spare, by all means, come over there and help donate to the channel. But as always, guys, I will catch you on the next review. And remember, as always, keep on nerding.